So let me look at the controller here. A trick with the controller is to press A when you're in the window, and it zooms it to fill the thing. And so here's my idle, idle turn right. We have a transition to chase, which is a blend tree controlled by direction. And we have a transition to jump from the chase. Let me look at one of these. Let me look at the idle function. Here's the animation for the idle function. Is one that I got from the raw mocap file. And it has these various clips here that are trimmed out of the entire thing. The entire thing is a long mocap that has a whole bunch of stuff in it. It's 1,000 frames long, and it does various things, different turnings, and the character apparently just stood there and turned as they did the mocap. And in the sense that they're raw, they go from 75 to 963 frames, but the part I wanted was this little bit where it turns to the right, and that's just these frames here between 111 and 148, which I trimmed down so that now I get just this nice turning. Actually, it's turning to the left, but anyway, it's turning, and the root motion is taking care of that turn, and various things that you have to do when you pick the end points here of the start and end of that clip involve making sure that it loops relatively well. This will turn different colors if your looping is appropriate, and there are other features that are set. I didn't worry about the other ones. So that's the idle animation, is this idle turn right that is here as a clip extracted from the raw one. Jump is a similar kind of thing. Jump came from idle can not up idle. And it was, again, a long animation, 1,200 some frames, that had a whole bunch of different stuff in it. And the jumping to here is one of these clips that is extracted from this little piece of it right here from frame 40 to frame 248 with a good looping. And it is this nice little jump that my character does when I'm close enough to my player. The transitions between these, and again, there's always a lot of fiddling. So the transition from idle to chase looks like this. And you can, of course, preview what that transition is going to look like as it goes from idling to chasing. The transition occurs here. This is a little measure of the position of your character, and so this can help you to match things up. All of this stuff can be fiddled with, where you move these back and forth in order to get different overlaps. You can make the transition longer by spreading those out. Lots of fiddling potentially here for each of these different transitions that are all something that you can look at here and see how the transition occurs from the different states, from transition to jumping, and from jumping back to chasing. All of these different transitions are settable in here. there's the transition back to chasing. So, uh, um, and so that's good. We've got a character that now chases, and when it gets close enough, it jumps. If it's too far away, it can't see. And as it stands there and idles, it it rotates gradually until its field of view encompasses the character. And all pretty simple with pretty simple scripts here. Let me go back to the scripting and we'll talk more about that. So idle is pretty simple. I'm setting the state to idle, which is just something in the inspector that lets me see where my character is. Because its behavior is controlled by can see and can jump, all I'm doing here, I'm setting speed to 0, which I'm not actually using, and direction to 0. So the turning of my character is taken care of by the root motion. Jump has only one thing to do. It needs to keep our character, our AI, facing the player. And to do this, I'm going to use a slurp, an interpolation, and a look rotation, and a rotation speed. So I've got my face direction, which is from my AI to my target. I'm turning the Y component 0, so it's not looking up or down and rotating in a funny way. And then in each of these turns through jump, it's going to replace the rotation with the rotation that is moved towards the look rotation face direction with a rotation speed times time delta time. This is going to turn my AI to face the character when it's jumping. So I'll show you that again one more time as this thing runs. I don't know why it takes so long to run when we're doing Zoom, but it does. So he's going to stand there and face me. If I move around, he continues to face me. So I want to add another feature here. Oh, I've got to talk about chase first, of course. Sorry. Chase is a bit more complicated. It kind of follows some of the stuff that we did back with our follow, flee, and so forth. We have the current direction. The current direction I'm getting from the animator. I'm not getting it from the transform. I'm getting it from the animator. It's root rotation. So this is a quaternion. This is the orientation of the character taken from the animator. And I'm multiplying it by it times a vector. And a rotation, a quaternion times a vector gives you a vector that's pointing in the direction of the rotation. So the current direction is the direction that my character is facing. The wanted direction is the vector between the animator's root position. Again, I'm getting the position not from the transform position, but from the animator's position. So now I have the current direction that I'm facing and the wanted direction that I want to face it. This is already a unit vector. A quaternion times a unit vector is going to make a unit vector, and I want my wanted direction to also be a unit vector, so I normalize it. Then that logic that we used, where we use a dot product to see whether we're facing the character or not. If the dot product is greater than 0, we're facing the player. And I extract from the cross product of my current direction and my wanted direction the Y component of that, and that's going to tell me whether to turn to the right or to the left, and I'm going to use that for the parameter in the animator direction. If I happen to be facing away from the character, I'm going to use either a 1 or a -1 so that it turns as fast as possible when it's facing away. But that's all that I have to do in here. I send the direction to the animator, and it's going to take care of walking my character towards it, because the animator, the chase animator, the blend tree that controls the walking, is mediated by this direction that goes from -1 to +1. So all very cool, and as you can see, all very simple.